Welcome back. You're watching All About Ads Prime. Yes, we know that you're looking forward to your favorite part of the show, the international ad segment. But before that, fathom this. By the year 2030, we will have at least 1 trillion connected devices. So how will that change the marketing ecosystem? Twitter's MD for South Asia, India, Middle East and North Africa, Parminder Singh, talks about that and more. Listen in. Welcome to the show, Parry. Now, let's begin by asking you about Twitter then. Twitter is real time. It's like you're watching TV with the rest of the world, right? It's real time. It's about the moment, right? How do you think brands are faring as far as capturing real time moments is concerned?
Firstly, you're absolutely right. We believe that our platform is real time, which means it's live. It's also public and it's conversational. And brands are using all 3 attributes of Twitter in very interesting ways. For instance, take the recent Cricket World Cup. We saw a lot of brands innovating around a big moment like Cricket World Cup. They did realize that most of their audience would want to talk about cricket, would want to talk about Cricket World Cup, and the best way to be in their mind is to be there through the medium of cricket. So we have advertisers from automobile manufacturers, CPG advertisers, leisure and resorts companies. They're allowing users to co-create the advertising with them as well.
The aftermath of Nepal earthquake, a lot of brands rubbed consumers the wrong way just to be present during that very moment.
There might be a few cases here or there where the brands may not have used it in an appropriate manner. I can think of several more cases where brands have used the power of real-time mediums like Twitter. When the earthquake happened, within 2 hours, the hashtag Nepal Quake Relief was formed. And brands were using this hashtag to figure out how to channelize relief supplies and send it to Nepal. When you see goodwill playing out and channelizing into positive action on mediums like Twitter in a public way, that galvanizes a lot of brands into action as well.
Twitter is basically about driving conversations. It's about consumer research and finding what your audiences are basically thinking. It's about share of voice, getting that share of voice. But what about top line growth?
Each medium has a core to it, and our core is engagement. Twitter, because of the accurate interest graph, allows for very strong engagement. What would you want to do after that engagement is for the brands to define. Will it be a website visit? Will it be a sale on your website? Will it be downloading a product brochure? It's for the brands to define.
So you mentioned that there are presently 8 billion connected devices all across the world, right? And by 2030, there'll be 1 trillion connected devices. So what are the new rules of engagement for marketers then?
The connected devices would mean that there'll be so much more content that marketers would really have to battle out with. Because the content would just not be created by professional media outlets, but by consumers, people like you and me, because everybody who has a mobile phone would be a content creator. So it becomes really important for marketers to understand the psyche of their customers, understand the moments that they are living, and be part of that moment.
1 trillion connected devices by 2030. Doesn't that pose a challenge for brands? Because you have that many devices and you have to understand consumer behavior on those many devices. And as you know, not very many companies are equipped with understanding, making sense of that data.
Well, as they say, each challenge is an opportunity. Now you know that you have a mobile phone or a tablet or a laptop, and through which you can reach out to your audience real time. No longer do you have to wait for that person to pick up that newspaper or switch on his TV sets. He is there in the moment for you.
Could you give us some usage patterns of Twitter, the way Twitter is being used in India as compared to, for instance, the Middle East?
Food conversations in India, the pattern of food conversations in India is very different from how it plays out in Singapore versus Indonesia or Middle East. We see automobile as a very interesting and rising category. People talk about real estate a lot in India. People have started talking about fitness.
Parry, I have to ask you this. We've been told by a couple of marketers, mostly startups, they want to use Twitter, but the medium is a little too expensive. So is Twitter a luxury then?
Firstly, Twitter, you could start by having a handle on Twitter and just by tweeting out organically, for which you don't have to pay. It's up to you to define how much would you want to spend on it. It's a medium that's the pricing is based on an auction. The market decides what the pricing is. We don't decide that. Eventually, the pricing model of Twitter is based on a cost per engagement basis.
Twitter is basically about keeping up with the news, right? It's like the live newsroom. Can it go against the platform as far as like certain other brands are concerned, which are not newsy as such?
It's up to you to make what you want of this platform, and we believe it's a great complementary medium to other mediums as well. You could be a print organization, you could be a television organization. It's a great complementary medium.
What are your plans and priorities for the Indian market?
So, a couple of things. One, we've set up our sales team here. We are starting in Mumbai as well as in Bangalore. So we would want to work closely with agencies and with brands. We've just introduced a product called Polling Card. We've introduced another technology called Configurator Card in India. We've just launched a product called Amplify in India. So we really want to work closely with brands.
And lastly, will Twitter ever increase the word limit?
I have no idea about it. We think 140 characters makes us conversational. It's a very unique feature of Twitter.
On that note, thank you very much, Barry, for joining us.
Thank you for
All
having
About
me.
Ads Prime. And now on to some international advertising news and creative work that's been trending globally.